Are you a mortgage or finance broker who now handles first and second mortgages, otherwise known as private business loans? Would you like to know the top 5 tips used by some of Australia's best private business loan brokers? If you do, stay tuned. That's what I'm going to explain. I'm Paul Stone, founder and CEO of HomeSec Business Finance, and this video that I'm doing today has just been done off the cuff to be able to help more brokers have more success with private business lending. Whether you're sending the deal to HomeSec or any of our industry peers, our other private lending competitors out there, these 5 tips will help you have more success across the board. So let's dive into it. Point number 1, or tip number 1, is know your client. Now, it's a pretty basic thing in the finance industry. You should know your client, but some people think that just means name, address, phone number, company details, that sort of thing. They're important, of course, but you need to know more. So obviously we need to know the property address, how much is owing on it, and what sort of property it is, and those sorts of things. But it's about the purpose, and this is the part a lot of brokers miss. Now, you can ask the client, what do you need the money for? And they'll say it's for cash flow or it's to pay some business debts. Dive in a bit deeper, ask some more questions. This is key, and I'll explain why a little bit later in this short video. But it is key that you ask more questions. That helps the lender. It will also help you better understand where to place it. Now, if the client needs the money in a desperate hurry, it's no good trying to chase some super cheap rate where they've got to do a valuation and everything else. Those lenders are awesome if the client's not in a hurry. So if the client's not in a hurry, take it to a lender who can offer you a better deal, but you're going to have to obviously get vails done and everything like that. If the client's in a desperate hurry, you don't go to those lenders and you come to a lender who doesn't do vails and can actually get the things done in 24 hours. Now, HomeSec Business Finance, or give ourselves a plug, that is what we do. That's all we do. We stay in our lane and we just fund deals fast. But how do we get them done fast? It's cooperation. Cooperation with the broker, the client, and us. We know, and we've got the track record, we know our deals settle in 24 hours. We know it. Our record's 6 hours. So it's all about having the client all prepped and ready to go. So that is so important. It's no good having stuff all over the shop and a client missing documents and everything else and then turning around and blaming the lender for taking so long to get the deal done. It's all about cooperation between the 3 parties. Now, that brings me to tip number 2, preparing and packaging the deal. That is so important as well. Let's not overkill and let's not underkill. So, for example, don't just send through a rates notice and say, my client needs 300,000, can you fund it? That's underkill, that's not gonna work. Don't overkill it either and send through 50,000 documents and a massive 4,000 word email that we've got to try and work through. That just slows everything down. All we need, that's the beauty of private lending, all we need are dot points on all the key fundamentals and a bit of a blurb on what the client really wants the money for. And then the main attachments, mortgage statement, rates notice, and ID. That's it. So if you package it right, it will get read faster and processed faster. And if all the information's there, we don't have that back and forwards with you taking up your time and the lender's time. Tip number 3 sounds strange, but be available. We've seen so many cases where a client is absolutely desperate to get the deal done and the broker's gone missing in action. The broker's gone to a lunch, a PD day, golf, and that's just no good. Look, I understand brokers get busy. I know, guys, I know how busy you can get. So if that's going to happen, get the lender to handle it. Now, some lenders won't, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. That's the way their model works. At HomeSec, we would prefer to deal directly with the client. So if you want us to do all the backwards and forwards with the client, we will happily do that and report everything back to you, including if we can't do it, we'll let you know all the reasons why. But please be available for your client and for the lender, most importantly. Every minute counts in an urgent private business loan. Now, tip number 4, always be straight with the lender. If there's something you know, tell us, because we're going to find out. And all it will do is burn your reputation. And I'll let everyone into a bit of a secret. We all talk. All private lenders, we know each other. somewhere we're fierce competitors, but we run into each other at events and that sort of thing. We're always shaking hands and comparing notes. Some of us compare notes in a more of a real-time situation where we'll contact each other quite regularly and just check out what's going on. Obviously, there's never ever any private information disclosed on anything, but we know who's who, and we know the good brokers who just do it right and know how to get it done, and we all know the ones that aren't in that category. So just always be straight with the lender, because remember, the private lender, they're there for you. If you know it's a bad deal, tell the lender, mate, I think this is a bit shaky. I'm not sure about this client, but proceed with caution. I'll share a secret with you. A broker one time years ago gave me a deal and was really all over me like a rash. It had to settle really fast. Then he gave it to me on the Friday morning. On the Friday night, came back to me and said, stop, don't do it. I don't think the wife knows what's going on. And turned out the wife didn't know what's going on. And I tell you what, that broker, to me, he's got access all areas. And that was now 15 years ago. I still remember it to this day. They're the ones that succeed in this industry. That broker is still in the industry, unlike thousands of others. Tip number 5, this is a cool one, because remember at tip number 1, I said know your client and ask more questions. Now tip number 5 is know how to sell the rate. That's the biggest fall down I see with good brokers and even the ones that are new to the industry, is they go, oh gosh, 2% a month, or it might be 3% a month, who knows? Or even if it's if it's a slower sort of longer term private loan and it's 10% per annum or 12 or whatever. And it's like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can sell that rate. I've heard it said many, many times, which also goes back to an earlier tip too. If you want the lender to sell it and talk to the client, we're more than happy to do that. In fact, we prefer it. We know how to overcome the objections. We know how to talk about cost benefit analysis and really get the client to open their eyes and get past rate. But probably the biggest tip with this is don't get stuck on rate. Private business loans are about solutions, especially fast private business loans, such as the ones we do. So it's a case of, do you want a rate or a solution? Now, we're about solutions, end of story, but you've got to know how to sell the rate. Now, one of the common things is you've asked the client what the problem is, and it might be, let's say hypothetically, they could get if they had $850,000 in their account right now, they could buy a couple of containers load of stock, whatever it is that they sell, for a third of the usual wholesale price. Now, if they had the $800,000 and they could buy that stock right away, they could sell it at a discount and still make, let's say, 200% markup instead of 100%. So they come to us, for example, to HomeSec. We might fund it at 2% per month, and the client goes, 2% a month, my gosh, that's 24% per annum. It's not, because they may only have the loan for 3 months. So that's point number 1. They're actually only paying 6% for the 3 months. Don't annualize something that's a monthly thing. So you go, okay, right, the establishment fee, let's say 4%, let's say the total costs come to 10%. So that's $800,000 loan. So it's $80,000 in costs for 3 months, let's say hypothetically. But they can make an additional $800,000 profit if they can get the money by tomorrow. So let's think about that. $800,000 extra profit, $80,000 cost. It's pretty simple. Now, you can go chasing a better rate, but they won't get the money by tomorrow. So these are key points. So know how to sell the loan, know where to place the loan. It's no good taking an urgent loan to a lender with a great rate, but they've got to do vowels and a whole lot more due diligence. At the same time, if the client's not in a rush and they just need a private business loan instead of a bank loan for whatever reason, then a HomeSec loan, for example, is probably not the best option. So it's horses for courses, it really is. We know we are not the solution for everything, and other private lenders in the more conservative space also know they are too. So make sure you take the right deal to the right lender, know your client, know how to package it, and you are going to get so many more applications funded and lenders are going to love you. Anyway, I hope this helps. Paul Stone, HomeSec Business Finance. Give us a call anytime if you want to run a scenario past us or just even want some more guidance on it. We're here for you. We've been around a long time. We've stood the test of time and we love helping brokers.